Have you ever found yourself denying who you are in your daily life? Perhaps you've criticized your appearance in the mirror, or dismissed your achievements as insignificant. We all experience moments when we try to meet others' expectations, or become troubled by the gap between our ideals and reality. This internal struggle is one of the most common forms of human suffering. Today, I want to talk about liberation from denial as taught in Buddhism. This ancient wisdom offers us a path to freedom from the chains of self-criticism and comparison. Through ancient Indian stories and timeless teachings, I'll share the message that you no longer need to suffer in this way. So please stay with me until the end, as we explore this journey towards self-acceptance and inner peace. What we need to learn is the importance of being liberated from self-denial. This liberation isn't about becoming arrogant or dismissing our need for growth. Rather, it's about finding a balanced relationship with ourselves that allows us to see our worth while still striving for improvement. The first lesson is to have self-acceptance. This means looking at yourself with the same compassion you would show a dear friend. It means acknowledging your flaws without being consumed by them, and recognizing your strengths without becoming prideful. By accepting yourself, you no longer need to compare yourself with others, and you can find peace of mind. For example, there was a young man named Rahula. He couldn't have confidence in his abilities, and was always comparing himself to others. Every morning, he would wake up with dread, wondering how he would measure up to his peers. His mind was constantly occupied with thoughts like "I'm not smart enough," or "I'll never be as successful as them." However, through Buddha's guidance, he learned to focus on his own characteristics and strengths, gradually developing self-acceptance. The second lesson is not to be swayed by others' opinions. In our interconnected world, we're constantly bombarded with messages about who we should be and how we should live. When you try too hard to meet others' expectations, you lose sight of yourself. You become like a leaf in the wind, constantly changing direction based on external forces rather than your own inner compass. A woman named Sudarshan was denying herself because she cared too much about others' opinions. She had spent years molding herself to fit what she thought others wanted her to be. At work, she took on projects she didn't enjoy because she feared saying no would make her look uncommitted. But through encountering Buddha's teachings, she realized her own worth and felt her heart become lighter. She discovered that authenticity, not conformity, was the key to genuine happiness. The third lesson is to let go of past experiences. Our past can be both a teacher and a prison. While our experiences offer valuable lessons, they can also trap us in patterns of thinking that no longer serve us. Many of us carry the weight of past failures like heavy stones in our backpacks. A young man named Anil was trapped by his past failures. He had started a business that failed spectacularly, leaving him with debt and damaged self-worth. For years, he couldn't bring himself to take any risks or pursue new opportunities. But through Buddha's teachings, he learned that his past mistakes were not a life sentence, but rather stepping stones to wisdom and growth. Now, let me tell you Rahula's story in greater detail. In his youth, he was always comparing himself with his friends, who seemed to excel in everything. One day, feeling overwhelmed by his insecurities, he visited Buddha and confided his troubles. "Buddha, I can't do anything compared to my friends. How can I learn to accept myself?" Buddha looked at him with compassion and said, "Rahula, you have your own value. Each person is like a unique flower in a garden. You cannot compare a rose to a lotus, for they each have their own beauty and purpose. Comparing yourself to others leads to self-denial. It's important to look at the qualities you possess and cherish them." After hearing these words, Rahula gradually learned to accept himself. He began practicing mindfulness and self-reflection. He discovered that he had a talent for listening and helping others, qualities that were just as valuable as academic achievements. He found peace of mind without denying himself or comparing himself to others. Next, let me share Sudarshan's story. She was trying so hard to meet others' expectations that every day was painful. Her life had become a performance, and she was exhausted from playing roles that didn't reflect her true self. She would agree to extra work, even when overwhelmed, and express opinions that weren't truly hers. One weekend, she went with a friend to listen to Buddha's teachings. Buddha spoke about the importance of authenticity. He said, "Don't let others' opinions control you. When you live trying to satisfy everyone else's expectations, you become like an actor who has forgotten their true identity. Listen to your own heart and know what you truly desire." After hearing these words, Sudarshan felt something shift within her. She realized that her constant people-pleasing was preventing her from forming genuine connections. Over the following months, she began making small changes, expressing her true opinions and learning to say no to requests that didn't align with her values. She discovered that people respected her more for her authenticity. Anil's story is equally profound. He was trapped by his past business failure, unable to move forward because he was constantly looking backward. The failure had become a heavy chain that prevented him from stepping into the future. Every time an opportunity arose, he would remember his past failure and convince himself he wasn't capable of success. One day he sought guidance from Buddha. After listening to his story, Buddha said, "The past is like yesterday's weather. It has already passed, and no amount of worry or regret can change it. Past failures are not life sentences, but rather stepping stones to wisdom and growth. The question is not whether you will fail again, but whether you will let the fear of failure prevent you from living fully." With these words, Anil realized that his past failure had taught him valuable lessons about resilience and preparation. He began to see his experience not as a mark of shame, but as a source of wisdom, and gained the courage to face new challenges. Let me explain Buddha's teachings with modern examples. When we use social media, we're constantly exposed to curated versions of others' lives. We see perfectly filtered photos and highlight reels that make everyone else's life seem more successful than our own. This constant comparison can lead to what psychologists call compare and despair. However, others' success is their story, different from our own. Instead of comparing our worth to others, it's important to value ourselves and accept who we are. Consider the modern workplace as another example. Many of us feel pressure to be constantly available and to say yes to every request. This is modern-day people-pleasing, and it can be just as exhausting as Sudarshan's experience. It's crucial to listen to our own inner voice without being swayed by others' opinions. So how can we apply these teachings to our daily lives? First, develop a habit of finding your good points. Every evening, spend a few minutes writing down 3 things you did well that day, no matter how small. This practice can fundamentally shift how you see yourself. Next, make an effort to hold firm to your own values. Take time to reflect on what matters most to you. Once you're clear about your values, use them as a compass for making decisions. When faced with choices, ask yourself, which option aligns most closely with your authentic values? It's also important to let go of past experiences and look toward the future. This doesn't mean forgetting your past, but changing your relationship with past events so they inform your present without controlling it. Don't fear failure, and try new things. Every failure contains valuable information, bringing you closer to what works. Finally, let's reflect on today's learning. Self-acceptance, maintaining our authentic voice amid external pressures, and freeing ourselves from past failures can liberate us from the prison of self-denial. These teachings offer us a way to live with greater peace, authenticity, and resilience. The stories of Rahula, Sudarshan, and Anil remind us that transformation is possible for anyone willing to embrace self-compassion. By having self-acceptance, not being swayed by others' opinions, and letting go of the past, we can step into our full potential as human beings. Please take these lessons to heart and apply them to your daily life. Remember that this is a practice, not a perfection. If you found this exploration of Buddhist wisdom helpful, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue learning and growing together on this path of self-discovery. Thank you for joining me on this journey today.